for it.
Do you know what? Can I just tell you that he looks so
hurry
good.
up.
He's wearing, like, insurance men's trousers.
That's right.
Proper trousers. And a black jumper and a nice shirt and a spotty tan. Looks so good.
Yeah. Anyway, Janice, all I can say, that's very kind of you to say that to me, and all I could wish you is...
Same to you.
No, you see, you can't do it. No, I can do it. Look, don't tell them what it is. That is the sign of the National Eddie Day. It was Eddie Grundy Fan Club. Listen, Eddie Grundy Fan Club. Saturday was National Eddie Day. Right, that's the sign that we do, but you don't have to tell people at home. So we do that sign, you see. I mean, they don't know what it is, because they'd all be in it otherwise. So, you see, there's a long tradition when it's National Eddie Day. Are you listening? Don't keep trying to practice it. I'll show you afterwards. Here, come on, give me your hands. No. Put them down here, don't worry. I've got insurance man's trousers on, don't worry about it. Nothing will go wrong. Anyway, listen, Janice, listen. Now, there's a long tradition in the Eddie Grundy Fan Club which goes back to... last year, I think, actually. When it's National Eddie Day, we all are supposed to meet. Wherever you are, if you're in the fan club, you make the sign at 6 o'clock. So all over the country, all over the world, people are going like that. Now,
did it with the other hand before?
No, well, that was only because, you know, you're not a proper member. I don't have to do it right. But if you're in London at that time, you're supposed to go to Trafalgar Square, and underneath Nelson's column, for some reason, this is the stuff. No, people, there's photographs in the newsletter of all the crowds last year, like, you know, so... I was in the office on Saturday, footling about, and so I thought, why not? You know, I'll fight my way through the crowds, you know, the Eddie fans all milling round Nelson's column there, you see, and I'll sort all this out, you see. And I was a bit late, because I dashed down, and normally I get down to Victoria. I got onto the platform, I thought, of course, I know, Trafalgar Square. Ran to go to Bakerloo, rushed down, so I just got there about 2 minutes to 6. I thought, where are they? There's Nelson's column, all the pigeons and all that sort of thing flying around. I dashed down and ran. Chairman Brian, who runs the whole thing, like, he had said to me, we don't meet round the National Gallery side. It's the other side, the Whitehall side of Nelson's column. So I got running round the corner. Ran. Nobody there. It's about 1 minute to 6. I'm looking around. I'm panicking. I thought, perhaps they've moved. I set off. Nelson's column's a lot bigger than you think. You know, you look at the ashtrays, it don't look so big, but you get round there, it's great big blocks. I started to walk round it like this. So I'm going round. No, nobody else round to the National Gallery side, about 50 yards. No. Round again. Round I go. No. Fine, I'll come back. Still nobody. And I thought, it's 6 o'clock. I start to jog round, like I'm jogging. Round and round Nelson's column. I'll get back to the Whitehall side, and then I look round. Sidney Sidcup, who happens to be a poet, he's a mate of Wild Willie Beckett, who's a mate of Jules. He's more of a Yorkshire member, but, I mean, Wild Willie Beckett's in it, so Sidney Sidcup's in it. He's coming out the tube. Hello, looking around, so I said, where are they? So I said, don't know, I'm looking. So he comes and stands with me. That's two, obviously. So I said, well, look a bit stupid being photographed two of us. So then, that next minute, Chairman Brian comes round and round. Oh, he's got his woolly hat on, that keep there. And so he looks round. At that minute, it goes bing bong, 6 o'clock, and all three of us just went, did the sign straight away, you see. All these Japanese tourists, they jump out the way, you know, because we're standing. So we said, well, where is everybody? Turned out Chairman Brian had been going round. I've been going one side, and we've been getting faster and faster, going round and round Nelson's column. I mean, it's ridiculous. Then another fella appeared round the corner who nobody knew. We said, hello, and he's looking at us, and he suddenly goes and does the sign. And so we called him over. This is true. And his name was Ian something or other, as far as I remember. He introduced himself, and we said, oh, this is Sidney Sidcup, the poet John Waters, and Chairman Brian, you see, and we all four of us stood there, and we said, well, this is it. He wasn't even a member. His mother was a member and had sent him. This fella, his mother was in Maidenhead, and she'd sent him. He thought there'd be crowds and policemen holding him back, you know, like the miners' rally, you know, people, horses backing into people. There's just four of us standing there. So we said, Chairman, oh, there's nothing for it. We'll have to get a photograph for the fan club next newsletter of all of us, you see, four of us. Oh. He said, I was in such a hurry to get here. I didn't realise till I got on the train. I forgot the camera.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And we sat there, and he had to go and buy a postcard of Trafalgar Square, and he's going to ink in some figures and print it in the newsletter. So I thought, well, that's it. I mean, I'm beginning to wonder if I'm in the right organisation. That's all I'm saying. I went off. We had a couple of drinks, that's all, the pub round the corner. Then I went off to the ICA to see some art. Ooh. Actually, when I say art, art's very funny these days. It said, like, Jean Fabre. Oh, no, Jean Fabre. That was it. There wasn't an acute accent. Belgian person, you see, and it was more of a theatrical presentation. Yet, perhaps you and I, we think of theatre as a bit different. I've not really caught up with all what happened in a lot of the periods in the 70s and so on. I'm still coming to terms with these things. You know, well, I mean, like events and performances and all this sort of thing, where people don't paint anything and they don't act a play. They, you know, prance around on stage doing something, you see. But this has been very much recommended, and it's a piece called The Power of Theatrical Madness. And as I say, Belgians, 16 of them, and it went on for 4.5 hours.
Ooh.
No interval. And what you got was this series of sort of images, events, you know, a lot of banging and shouting, you know, a lot of repetition, almost like soldiers sometimes. They do something, or they do a particular set of sequences. They just take their clothes off, you know, take their clothes off, put their clothes on, then walk to the front, then they go back and do it again, you know. And gradually you start to get sort of fascinated. That's all I'm saying. It's just what I went to do on a Saturday night. It's that repetition that started to get really sort of, well, sort of exciting. I mean, there were so many different things out there. There's actually, this is from City Limits, a London magazine. That's a photograph from it. It's the only publicity photograph I've seen, but you can see it was quite exciting, like the whole event. Oh. Well, I think you should just better say, Janice, that the two gentlemen there, one can see they're not too excited, but on the other hand, that's about all you can't see. Exactly, there's always a lot of nudity in all these things. But, I mean, you know, it's not like that exciting or shocking because it's on the stage. It's funny, you know, it's very strange. People walk on with nothing on and start to stamp about and go through. But I found it genuinely a very interesting thing. I gather there's just a possibility this Jean Fabre person who may be packing up performance and going into opera, because obviously it was a very dramatic presentation. And I'm, you know, I'd quite like to see it again. I gather it is being brought back again. It was almost, one of the reviews said that it moves. They said it's such an irritating piece, you can't look away, but they said it moves like with the relentless frustration of a glacier, or glacier, however you want to pronounce it, in the fast lane. You know, it's very slowly, relentlessly crunches on. And I couldn't look away, you know, and there's this bits. I was telling Chairman Brian on the phone the next day. I thought I'd better tell him where I went, you know, after to see if anybody else showed up and went in the pub. It's a bit unlikely. And there's a bit where the whole company moves to the front of the stage and they start to run. There's no story, of course, you see. I mean, you know, it's just sort of images and ideas about, you know, who knows, violence, sex, life, who, you know, you have to put your meaning in, I suppose. Some of it's about the theatre, you know, because they start to run on the spot. They're stripped naked to the waist. Oh, you see, they're running up and down, just on the spot there. And they just start to shout things to do with the theatre, like landmarks in modern theatre, sort of, 1967! And then somebody shouts something like, you know, Arnold Wesker, The Kitchen! Somebody else, you know, whatever it is, you know, Peter Brook, 1964! And then it comes round again, 1967! Arnold Wesker, The Kitchen! Peter Brook, Royal Court, 1967! And you start to get, you feel like queuing them, you know, because it goes on about 20 minutes, this thing goes on. And gradually it's like a dream, you're watching it. I'm telling Chairman Brian, he wasn't that bothered, because he's more of a 19th century art man. He's a straightforward painter, he doesn't approve of all this modern stuff. And we're on the phone on the Sunday morning. I'm lying in bed, as per usual, on the phone to him after the Archers omnibus, you see, discussing what's happened, Eddie and all this sort of thing. And he says, yeah, it's a bit iffy. I said, but no, Brian, I said, you've enjoyed it, you know, it's all just repetition and dreamlike stuff, but isn't that all that repetition? It's like life, isn't it? Huh, is it? He says, huh. And I just realised, I said to him, hang on, every Sunday morning you get up and go out for a jog, you come back, you listen to the Archers at the same time, at 11:15, as soon as it's finished, 11:15, I ring you, we talk about Eddie, put the phone down. We do the same thing every week. They do it every 20 minutes. We do it every week. So much to you, Chairman Brian. Monday, last night, I was back at the ICA. It's closed Monday, but it was a private event. Some people and the ICA got the idea of making a kind of like video television programme kind of magazine about the arts, you know, I mean, young artists do something, so perform, or somebody talking. And I was one of the people, they said, would I say a few things, talk about something, so I'm not being paid for it, you know, just turning up. They want to see see if it works, you know, and make a little magazine, perhaps try and get telly interested or something. So, oh, I'll turn up. Of course, people, if they see me turn up, they think I'm your representative. Two youths came over and said, because I was sitting outside, I'm getting nervous, because I get nervous before I go on. I'm walking up and down, because it's only private, but, you know, you're still going to be out there. You're going to look a twerp, either if you dry up, you know, and I'm walking up and down, pacing, and walking in, I start not saying this. And these youths came up and said, we'll be hearing about this tomorrow night, will we? I said, what? So they said, you're not even in there. I bet you just slag it off. Janice laughs, you slag it off, you're out here. I said, the reason I'm out here, I'm ready to go on. I'm not slagging it off. Anyway, so I went in, did my bit. All I'm saying is, I went in and I did my bit. And one of the things I did want to see, immediately after me, was this Beau Gamelin trio, and there are three sort of musician-stroke artists. I got the bump off them to see what they do, because I've heard about them. They're not quite like Test Department or something, but they use a lot of bing-bong, scrap metal and tinkle about, and wind instruments, by that I mean like motor horns and all sorts of electricity-driven things, that sort of thing. They gave me this record, so I've just missed it. This is called something, When Will That Be? And they use motor-driven whistling worms, Highland pipes driven by dinghy pump, whatever, and assorted air, gas and car horns. And if I hadn't come rushing out to wild applause from everybody else and said, quick, give me a pint of lager, I dare say I'd have heard something like this. Yeah. Oh, gosh. When they got into that waltz bit, I thought you were going to get it.
The middle eight, that really got to me.
Anyway, that was a small section from the Beau Gamelin Trio. On Wednesday, going right back, last Wednesday, I'm in the office early because, as you know, I do a world service with Peel in the studio. We're always at there early Wednesday. We've got a studio to work in. I'm dashing out, phone goes. And I thought, what a time, like, you know, very quite 9:30 or something, which in BBC terms is quite early because, you know, media doesn't get going about 10. So I thought, it can't be a record company because they're never in. You know, so I pick it up, and I get this, it's like Mr. Angry. I hope he isn't listening because he was a genuine member of the public. You see, and I pick it up, and so I get, hello! So I said, Radio 1. I'm always very evasive, you know, like I'm the whole of Radio 1, so I say I'm not me. Hello, I'm not me. So I said, Radio 1. And so he says, oh, hello, look, has he played Iris Williams? Has he played Iris Williams? Did I just hear that? And I said, has my chap played Iris Williams? I said, this is perfectly true. This is true, absolutely true. And I said, no, I said, I don't think... What is it you're after exactly? So he said, oh, your fellow, it's just I want to know, you see. So I've got a paper here. So I've got a paper, and I'm just wondering if your man, I'm ringing up, because if he's played Iris Williams. See, that happened to me once before. He played Iris Williams. And I said, I could imagine my man playing Iris Williams. What do you... Well, you see, I'm looking at the paper. I've been at work all night, let me breakfast, so I'll have a look here. Newton Abbott, the 350 at Newton Abbott this afternoon. One of the horses running's Iris Williams. And I said, this what? So I said, Iris Williams is running at Newton Abbott, and I want to know if he's played Iris Williams, because that's happened before, and I think that's a bit of a sign. You know, that's a sign. I'll put some money on it if he's played Iris Williams. I said, hang on. I said, who are you trying to speak to? He said, it's Radio 2. I said, oh, fine. I said, it's not Radio 2. And I said, go back to the switchboard. Thank you very much. Call Radio 2. They'll know if he's played Iris Williams. And I thought, isn't it amazing? Aren't there some strange people about? Who would be daft enough, risking money on the fact that there's a horse called Iris Williams. Are you listening, Janice? Listen. A horse called Iris Williams, and he wants to know if a record by Iris Williams has been played. He's going to put money on that. Who'd be daft enough to do that? Not me. Not me.
Who?
He must have done. Next morning, I had a look in the papers. The flipping thing romped home at 10 to 1. I thought, that'll never happen to me again. Oh, I was really annoyed. Talking about being annoyed, though, changing the subject. Peel, he's annoyed. You talk to him. You see him coming to have you heard about it? Has he been on to you? He's on to you. Peel, listeners at home, somebody pointed out to him there was a Portuguese great big car, more like a sort of Land Rover-y kind of thing, you know, a big van thing. And the make is an U-double-M. Only Peel would, instead of seeing this, thinking, what a name for a car, and so it's a sort of foreign mate, that's all right. And so instead of him thinking that, Peel, of course, says, what a joke. I shall be able to go in the pub, and people will say, oh, what car do you drive then, Mr. Peel? And I'll say, and they'll say, I said, what car do you drive? And they say, what car do you remember? And he said, this is a great joke. Sort of joke costs about £7,000 or £8,000. He gets onto the firm and buys one. And he gets cover for the first month, so he runs it around. I see it for the first month. He thinks it's like a Range Rover. I think it's more like an ice cream van, but it's somewhere between those
like
two.
Like a taxi.
Yes, I'm sure it's a very fine vehicle. Great big cow catcher on the front, you know, sort of never goes short of meat. You know, he's got, but he's a vegetarian. He's in this and I find it's a joke. You know, he's paid out for this joke, but he says, no, it'll come in for something. Then, of course, he finds it's such a new and unknown model. The reason nobody knows about it's unknown. He goes and tries to get it insured. They say, no, we don't have this in the listing. We don't have this. What is it, Volkswagen? No, I can't go quote you a price. And now he says they can't quote him a price. And when he goes to people who... Because it's mainly farmers buying. They get it as farming equipment to the National Farmers Union or whatever it is. I don't know what they do, but, I mean, they have a special rate of some sort. He says, no, I'm a member of the public. Then the people who want to insure him say, you're not a member of the public. You're Mr. Peel. You're in show business. As if he's like the late Keith Moon or somebody, you know, couldn't drive at all. I mean, if he'd have been able to drive, he would have been able to drive most of the time, you know, if you're a bit out of it. But, I mean, they think he's like that. And Peel is going around getting... I didn't help much. I said, look, it'd have been cheaper for about £100 legal fees. You could have changed your name to D-U-N-N-O-W, Dunno. John Dunno. And people say, well, what is your real name? You should not know John Peel. And you could have said Dunno. And they say, what do you mean you dunno? No, Dunno. What do you mean you dunno? If you dunno, who does know? I mean, you know, he could have got the same joke for a fraction of the price. Now he's got a car, great big ice cream van, new, in his drive, and he can't get it onto the road. And he's ringing round I'll let you know next week whether he gets it sorted out, but he's trying to get it sorted out. The thing is, I see it a bit like the Gamelan Trio that we just heard with their motor horns and wind things. All Peel's kids, what's going to happen is they're all going to climb in. It's going to be there right through to the summer, I can see this. They'll gradually turn it into a sort of musical instrument. He'll have to walk. He can't get it on the road. They'll sit there and all working the horn. They'll all learn to play it. And what is going to happen this summer, the sound across Peel's Suffolk village, as he comes from the station, there'll be the reassuring sound of motor horns playing music, floating over the hedgerows, as he comes, well, when Peely comes marching over.
Oh, that's brilliant. I wish you could see John Walter's face as he's talking, because the expressions and the mannerisms that he comes out with, oh, so funny.